How good can life get?
A safe job versus a dream job.
Got you. It's a pussy wet dream.
You know what? Fuck it. I'm going to go after my dream job.
The Ritz-Carlton.
I get to choose how I map out my day.
It's risky to stay in something that you know is not really your true passion.
Welcome to Honest Feedback, a podcast here for you. We are here offering advice on alternative perspectives for whatever is on your heart and mind.
I'm Lisset King, and I'm an emotional ninja. I help leaders release baggage and heal unresolved trauma so they can live and love their life of purpose.
I'm Goddess Brittney King, and I'm a Pleasure Priestess. I help women connect to their deepest truths, their sensuality, their sexuality, and hold the sacred union of both.
Welcome back to another episode of Honest Feedback. We're so excited to have you here today. Today we're going to talk about having a safe job versus a dream job.
Ooh.
Do you have any experience with that?
Do I? Do I? You are talking to a queen of being like, no, I got to stay in this job because everybody says it's safe, and being like, oh, it's dependable, and you get things. I worked at the Ritz-Carlton. And at the Ritz-Carlton, I was a cocktail waitress. And so literally, as far as waitressing goes, this was a dream. We had PTO, y'all. And if you don't know paid time off, that most wait staff people, that is not a thing you get. We had sick days and PTO and HR, and you can invest in a 401k. And it was a very quote unquote safe job. And like there were benefits and it was fun and it was on the water. It was great. It just also was not my soul's highest purpose. And it's not what I came here to do. And even at the time, it was not what I wanted to do. I wanted to act. And the only thing I was acting was as waitress.
I bet you were great though. I would overtip you
exceptional. For sure. I was an exceptional waitress, and those skills are in my current business.
Yeah, they are.
And it was challenging and scary to admit that the quote unquote dream job, especially what seems like a dream to other people and even myself in certain ways, it gave myself a lot of security, that it wasn't what my truth was. Yeah. How about for you? Any experience?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I got to work in the film industry for a while and making content, and it was a salaried position. It was wonderful. I worked for my brother, and it was as safe as a job can be. And I remember I had gotten like a call for my dream job, but I had also just taken this job. And then there was added elements of like, it's family and I just got this job and the salary's nice and all those things. So I said no to that, which in the end, like fast forward years later, even that job would have held me small. And when, Pandy and lots of things happened, I left that job, and then I was cooking, and I was like, well, that's a safe job, and it, pays cash money, and it was all these things. And the ultimate gift of the pandemic was that all of that fell away, and I realized that I just don't want to work for someone else. And the dream job and the dream boss is me.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. So this person wrote into us, entrepreneurs. And we're here no matter what kind of job you have. Like, I'm really excited to dive in and support this texter for what they want to create in their life. But before we get into that, this is a perfect time for you to like, subscribe, and share this podcast with a friend. We love being of service in this way. Like, this is free, and you get to ask us questions. Yeah, we are... Yeah, perfectly priced.
And in our life, there's a big paywall to ask us questions.
It's a luscious paywall.
It's a luscious
paywall.
Yes.
And so you get to ask questions. So share this with a friend, like, subscribe, and help us keep this going because we love being of service in this way.
Yeah.
So do you want to read this one?
No, I always want you to read it. You've got that smooth, silky actress voice. You have that great waitress voice. Go.
Thanks. I absolutely love my job and feel that it suits me perfectly. It pays me a great salary. I love the people I work with, and it offers a flexibility that I never thought possible in a job. It's a dream. However, it is not the job that I feel I am meant to be doing. It's not the job I've always dreamed about. However, whenever I think about how to incorporate my dream, performing professionally, I am overcome with what I can only explain as paralyzation. I'm terrified to get myself out there in spaces that are unfamiliar. So that leads me to this. How do I get myself to a place where I am comfortable enough and secure enough with myself to put myself in unfamiliar spaces and with unfamiliar people, and to clear out all the insecurities I have to pursue what I know is what I'm supposed to be doing in my life? Thank you. Got you. Got you.
Oh my gosh. I love the passion with which this question was asked.
Yeah, there were a lot of capitalized. I tried to emphasize.
You did great at emphasizing.
Thank you. Well, do you want to start us off?
Yeah, for one, I love the enthusiasm that you have for what you know you're meant to do. Like, that is something that most people don't have a pull and a drive towards. So for you to know this is what lights me up, and you have this beautiful dichotomy of where you are, you're happy with. It exceeded your expectations. It was more than a dream job, and you're paid great salary and you're doing what you love. A lot of people that we usually coach and help are going from, I fucking hate my job, to I want to do this thing that I've never done before. And you have an advantage in this way. So yeah, the unknown it's so scary. Like, the unknown is a fate worse than death. You've got to remember, your unconscious mind, one of its main jobs is to keep you alive. And anything that's been survived is now survivable. So the known is so safe, and the unknown is and can be considered death. So going after what you want can be scary. And so I just want to acknowledge that part of you inside that is going to be apprehensive to do something new.
This reminds me of an incredible book, 10x is easier than 2x, by Dan and Benjamin
Hardy.
Yes. Yeah.
Dan Sullivan and Benjamin Hardy.
Yeah, I talk to them like everybody becomes a close personal friend once I've read your book. It's Dan and Benji. Dan and Ben wrote this book, 10x is easier than 2x. And they talk about something that I find really valuable. And they talk about courage. And courage is the willingness to do what needs to be done. And the reason why courage is so important, and they share about this, is because courage doesn't feel good. It just doesn't feel good. Like confidence, you're like, I'm confident. Woo, woo, woo. Courage is, I'm fucking scared. I'm scared, and I'm going to do it anyway. And being able to move forward, to be able to move through that fear, which is why we're like, oh my God, they were so courageous. Because like, yeah, we were all fucking scared. We were scared, and we chose to take action in our lives. A few years ago, I started my business, and I was scared. I had never not worked for someone else, and my entire life was acting and producing and doing film and content, and to let that go in order to tune into what my new dream was and where I felt called to move, I sat in that place of fear. And I sat in that place of being afraid. And I chose to lean into taking steps on that path. So I just want to let you know, like, it is okay to be scared.
Yeah, it's absolutely. And, there's the comfort zone where everything is working out and super easy and it's beautiful and you can stay and live in that place. But the comfort zone does not equal the growth zone. The growth zone is outside of your comfort. So we just want to be forthcoming with you. I don't know if you're ever going to feel safe and ready enough to step into that. And with that said, there are ways to dip your toe into these spaces and not necessarily give up this great job that you have that exceeds your expectations. You can stay there and on weekends visit, areas where people are performing, meet people, socialize. You could start there where you're just surrounding yourself by these people that are doing what you love. When you surround yourself with people who are doing what you love, you start to get pulled. You start to see how they did this. It will create some familiarity so you can move into that space.
I love this. Creating some familiarity. Sometimes I have been guilty of this. Has anybody ever heard of like all or nothing theory? Like it's just like it all has to be this way or nothing can happen. Yeah. And it's like I have to, in order to pursue my new dream, I need to leave everything behind from the old world. We have to leave the old ways and all these things. And the truth is, like, you don't have to do anything you don't want to do. And so can you allow yourself to take one step forward in the direction of your dreams? So you talk about you want to perform professionally. Fucking yeah, here for it. There are so many people who are quote unquote being discovered, but like who are getting access to an audience by performing on TikTok. They're sharing their comedy, they're sharing their singing, they're sharing what they do. Oh my God, there was this incredible girl who made like a series of short films. Oh my God, she's so good. But she like produced a whole short film that like breaks down like sci-fi movies, and it was just like it was beat for beat, and she filmed it in her house, and she used like random.
She played every character.
Oh, it was so good. It was so good, but it was like she decided to get her work out there through her phone. Like, what a privilege to have access to this. So can you take one step forward, and like it doesn't require you to leave your job to post a video on TikTok. It like, can you
or Instagram
or do you want to start taking auditions? Like a lot of auditions are done remote now. You send in a self-tape. Like, can you tape yourself and just submit, audition in that way? Or do you want to produce like your own showcase? Maybe you have a friend in the neighborhood. It's not that you have to like rent out the Pantages Theater. It's, do I have a friend with a cool space, and maybe I can create something that I want to showcase and invite people to come over, and we have folding chairs, and it's fucking great. But allowing yourself to take one step at a time without having to let it be all or nothing.
Yeah. And I just want to create just a space. Like, I want you to think about this. Have you ever done something for the first time and it turned out great? And I just don't think there's one person who's listening to this that can say, nope, not once ever did I do something for the first time and it turned out great. Think back to your first day at this job. I'm sure there was a bit of terror and worry, or all the feelings that you are feeling before you step into this new thing. And you took the step, and then there became familiarity, and you started, and you got better at your job, and you kept getting better, and you kept getting better. And that's why you have this beautiful job that you have now. And so if you've done that, you can do this. So I just want to remind you of that.
Also, I feel like something that you wrote that is just really fantastic that you kind of touched on earlier is like, this job is even better than you dreamed it. And you experience it. So you're in the vibration of things being better than you thought. And so a fun game Lisset and I love to play is, how good can it get? How good can life get? Oftentimes when we are about to make a choice, make a change, you know what we're looking at? We're looking at, what am I going to lose? I might lose this paycheck. I might lose these work friends. I might lose this. I might lose this. Because we can only see what it is we think we're quote unquote giving up. But we're not looking forward towards what is possibly gained. Like, if you are in a job right now that pays you great and you're feeling happy and all this, and this is something that like isn't even what your soul is called. Like, what if it's like, girl, that is your baseline salary. What the universe has in store for you is fuck it money. Like, what if like the joy and the experience and the relationships that you get to have by you choosing into what your soul desire becomes even better, even more joyful, even more expansive. Like, how good can it get?
Yes. I love that. There was something we were talking about the other day. You were like, we were just playing in the question of like, how can I get a client to pay me $20,000?
Oh, yeah.
And what did you come up with? Just in case they're listening.
Yes. Just in case you're listening. I was like, what would I love to be paid $20,000 for? And I was just like, I let myself dream. And I was like, I would love for bougie resorts and hotels to pay me and fly me out and all the things, pay me to come visit their spaces and their amenities and tell them what is outstanding and what could need improvement. Oh, it is a pussy wet dream. So like,
Girl has experience.
yeah. Oh my gosh. Yes. Experience in all the finest things. So whoever's listening, you know, Four Seasons, the Ritz, Bulgari, like if you want me to come to your villa in the south of France, I would be willing for 20,000
for you, we would do that.
Yes.
It's just allowing yourself to dream of even the possibility so that it doesn't seem so foreign, you know, like, so it doesn't seem so unknown, but just allowing your unconscious mind can't tell the difference between imagination and what's actually happening.
Oof.
So allow yourself to dream, allow yourself to imagine that. We live in an information age. Like, seriously, the things I'm doing with ChatGPT are unreal right now. Like, I've had it planned the rest of my year so that I could write a book and everything. It's just so, like, there is no shortage of things you can do that are actions to move you in that step. And so my question is, do you have an action problem? Like, you just need to know which actions to step and you have the gumption to take it, or do you have a baggage problem? And so when we have a baggage problem, it doesn't matter. We can have the best mentor in the freaking world say, this is your path right here. This is how you become a superstar. But if there's a saboteur inside, or someone, like a voice inside telling you, oh, you'll never be good enough, or you're not tall enough, or like
Whatever.
blank in the I'm not smart enough, not good enough. Any of that stuff is running inside that will keep you from ever taking a step. And so, you know, I definitely want to give you some actionable advice on how to discover that here on this call. But this is actually a really good time for us to talk about our sponsor this week.
Yes.
Which is, it's me.
Perfect.
I am the sponsor for Honest Feedback Podcast this week. And I want to invite you and tell you about breakthrough sessions. And so breakthrough sessions are the key to a baggage problem. If you have a baggage problem, the first thing we need to do is we need to let go of your baggage. You need to realize what you've been thinking just isn't true. And when you realize that those old stories, those old scripts are not real, when the greater problem is gone, taking action becomes easy. I've had people who have been at the safe job that paid them incredibly well. We did a breakthrough session and they were like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to go after my dream job, let that go, and then created wealth and prosperity through that. Because what it was their baggage making them believe they could never do it on their own. I've had a client who was really stuck in her music career. We did a breakthrough session and now her songs are all over Netflix. They're all over. She had a song in a commercial during the World Cup.
The World Cup.
That's like a really big deal.
Huge.
The world. That is everywhere. So when we put down our baggage, when we let those limiting, the greater problem, the limiting beliefs that are stopping us from being who we're meant to be, do what we're supposed to do and have what we're supposed to have, like life becomes limitless. It's why it says limitless possibilities on the back of my hoodie, because I believe in this. If you go to my website, there's testimonial after testimonial. Brittany's actually going to read one for us today with her lovely voice.
Yes. Okay. Working with Lisset in my career breakthrough session was awesome. She was easy to work with, listened intently, and deeply cared about what I had to say. I feel like we got to the core of some internal patterns that were keeping me from taking the next step in my career. Since our time together, I've created my own full-day retreat for men, co-created a virtual monthly event, and as a whole have expanded my business offering, resulting in more personal income and greater impact on the lives of my clients. If you're curious about working with Lisset, I definitely suggest making this happen. Thank you, Yerasimos. He's a transformational body worker, human design guide, and self-sabotage coach.
Oh, yes. This man is doing the Lord's work out there. Yes. And it's amazing what you can do from the things that are keeping you from serving your greatest gift. And it's my favorite thing to do. I invite you to come work with me. If you've just discovered what breakthrough sessions are through our podcast, I'm doing $300 off of whatever my current price is for podcast listeners. We're going to include a link. Just get on my calendar. We'll have a 1 hour free consultation and see if it's a fit for you.
Thank you to our incredible sponsor, Lisset King. We're so happy. We're so happy and grateful. Thank you for sharing the amazing work that you do. When we realize if we have an action problem or a baggage problem, like you said, information is cheap. It's letting go of those greater things that are keeping us stuck. And when and
I just wanted to add to that, like we can, after doing this work for as long as I have become my own baggage hunter. I can tell when something is coming, like the call is coming from inside the house. And so I invite you to actually just sit down and write down your fears, write down your worries, write down what you think is blocking you, or what is the belief system, the BS, the belief system that is keeping you from getting where you want to get to, just so that you could see it on paper. Sometimes just seeing it, we go, well, that's bullshit. And if you, for it to be true for you, it would have to be true for everyone. So just think about the person that you love and be like, is that true about them? And oftentimes we can see what it is that's keeping us. And that's just a great first step of awareness.
Yeah. I want to support you with some more actionable steps for if you choose to take them. So first, just go with me. Take my hand. I believe, and if it supports you, I encourage you to believe it too. I believe that our desires are sacred. I just believe that our desires are sacred and that our desires are actually coming from our higher selves and pulling us forward on our path. It is a belief that I have found to be very empowering and very supportive. And so knowing that you have this desire to do something more, are you open to following that call and following the breadcrumbs of your higher self and leaning into what you actually might light you up even more to do? And I feel, again, going back to like that all or nothing, sometimes we're like, if I do this, it changes my entire life or identity and blah, blah. It's like, hey, sometimes you just like do a thing. I've been getting into sometimes reading obituaries and reading all these different things that these women did, where it's just like almost like, oh, I did a chapter of this. I wrote my first book at 65. I got them to stop naming hurricanes after women. I like passed a law. I did this. Like, we forget life is long and we can have many, many different phases and chapters. So can you allow yourself to tune into the desires that might be coming from your highest self, leading you into this next phase in your life? And something that I find to be really supportive when we're in these spaces of transition is, how can you allow what's happening currently to support you with where you're going? So, fun idea, play with it. How would you feel about if your job was a client? Like, instead of your job being like, this is my job, you started treating it like this is one client and I have many clients. So maybe it's my job is one client. Myself as a performer is a different client and I get to serve each of these clients. I feel like it opens up some space.
Yeah. How can I serve that client today? You know, on the days when you're not serving your current safe job, quote unquote, how can you serve your dream client? You at your most full, inspired, passionate self.
Yes.
And it might just be just like your regular job has daily task, your dream job has its task. And you only have to take one step at a time. How do you eat an elephant? How do you eat an elephant?
I don't know.
I've never eaten an elephant. I don't recommend it for anyone. But what I heard is it's one bite at a time.
Okay. I could have used burrito for that.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I could have used, you can also eat a burrito.
One bite at a time. One bite at a time. Well, something that is just coming through that I really want to just put in the space in this. I even feel edgy just saying this, but Jim Carrey talks about this, about the illusion of safety. And we can do what we think is safe and end up in the same place that we did if we took the path that we wanted to take. And sometimes we allow ourselves to really hold on to what we have decided is safe when it's actually just familiar. And so it's familiar to have the paycheck. It's familiar to go to this office. It's familiar to do these tasks. The thing I want to do is in the space of unfamiliarity. And so are you open to letting go of the illusion? Because at the end of the day, things can change in an instant. We all experienced Pandy, aka COVID, where things changed in an instant, and people who thought my job was absolutely safe, that wasn't true. And people who thought this is a nothing job was considered an essential worker. So are you choosing the most empowering definitions for yourself as far as what you're choosing? And can we allow ourselves that permission and freedom of, what if everything's equally as risky? It's risky to stay in something that you know is not really your true passion. Maybe it's equally as risky to go after what you want. Are you okay with that? And what risks do you choose to take?
Yeah. I'm just inspired.
Yeah. I felt edgy about saying it because I was just like, I don't want to tell you your safe job isn't safe, but like, what if it's just not?
What if it's just not?
What if it's just not?
Yeah. You just don't know. And there's so many things, like, it's really tragic how, let me correct that. Nothing in life is guaranteed. And so my I play a few games just with mortality. I'm like, if something were to happen to me today, is this my ghost outfit? It makes me dress a little better on the daily. And also, if life ended today, would I be okay with what I accomplished? Truly. And I get to say every night, I'm like, man, I really did give it my all today. I've helped so many people, and I feel really passionate about what I do. And I feel like I have so much more to give. So obviously I don't want today to be the last day, but that's just a good litmus test. Would I have felt like I left everything on the table, that I took the risk? Being a business owner, being an entrepreneur, there are days that I don't think there's a day that I'm not just a little bit nervous or a little bit butt puckered, but it's the most rewarding thing. I get to choose how I map out my day. I get to choose how I get to serve. I get to choose the impact I make. And for that, it's priceless. I'm not sitting around waiting for someone to give me a job. In the AI industry, people are losing so many jobs. And if you're waiting for other people to employ you, it's just like time is moving so fast. We need everyone out there, everyone who's listening to this, we need you to live your desire and your dream. The world needs more inspired people. So I hope you follow this dream. It feels right.
Yeah, it feels right. It feels super right. And one thing that even just came to me with what you were just saying of like, if I died today, would I be okay with what I accomplished? And I thought of, if I died today, would I be okay with who I be? Like my essence. Like, was I happy?
Yeah.
Was I happy? Like, did this experience make me happy?
Yeah.
And just being with that of like, I'm always here for like, could there be more joy? And doing what you want really opens up the space for even more joy. So we are holding the vision and the prayers for you to have the most incredible and best life that you desire. We are cheering you on. If there's any other ways that we can support you with releasing baggage or taking action, you know where the numbers are. You know how to hit us up.
If you have a question you would like us to tackle, our number is 971-895-4111, or send us a message at Honest Feedback Podcast on Instagram. We love however you send your question. It is our joy to serve you. And until we meet again,
be honest with each other.